Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome to a very, very special extra interview of Final Cut. And today I'm joined by a lady who has been acting for over 50 years. So as far as experience goes, there is no one more qualified than my guest here. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome two-time Emmy Award-winning actress, Vernee Watson.
Wow, I like that. Who is she? How you guys doing?
Not
Nice
too bad. How are you?
Say hello to everyone wherever you are. And I hope you all are well and safe.
And we obviously think the same for you. So I suppose the first question is, might be a long time ago, but how did you first get started out in acting?
I started in New York. I was more interested in dance when I started. My sister and I used to take classes since we were very young. And I was in high school and I had a friend. I was trying to get her to go hang out with me, and she said she had to go to acting class. I was like, what? And so she said, yeah, I'm going to acting class. So anyway, I joined her, and it was a theater group that I stayed with for 7 years. It was called the Al Fan Theatrical Ensemble in New York, and we practiced in the basement of a church at St. Philip's Church on St. Nicholas Avenue. And we did shows, we did a lot of theater, shows around Harlem, and then we took a tour of the South and did that. And can I just tell you one quick story about that?
You can, yeah.
So after our first tour, I got paid. I got my paycheck. Well, they gave us cash. It was $75. And I got in the elevator going upstairs to my house in the projects, and somebody tried to mug me and take my $75.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. So that was very traumatic. I was so upset. I really didn't want to give it up, but that's how I got started. And then I did a lot of commercials in New York. And my agent, I did over 200 commercials, and my agent told me that I should go to California because I was overexposed. They started asking for Vernee Watson types and not Vernee Watson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Right. So obviously, I asked this everybody. Who were your influences growing up? Who did you aspire to be to? Because I'll just give you a quick example. I am a huge fan of Chris Nolan. I'm a big fan of Tom Hardy. Big fan of literally anything Batman. I mean, I know you've starred with Kevin Conroy, but he is actually my favorite Batman to this date, regardless of which Batman you put in front of me. He just is the best Batman there is. And obviously, watching Batman growing up, because I first watched it when I was about 12 years old, I think, 10 years old. And I was just like so mesmerized by it. And I always remember Kevin Conroy as one of the key, I'll say Batman the Animated Series was one of the key things I grew up watching. So with that being said, who were your influences growing up?
Well, my teachers, definitely. Al Fan, and then a lady named Minnie Gentry. I studied at New York University under Olympia Dukakis and Lloyd Richards. I mean, these are some powerful people. So I learned from the best. And during that time, there were actresses, Black actresses, and white actresses, of course, on TV. And I guess Diane Carroll was working a lot then. And I always thought she was so classy. Let's see. And now, I mean, I have to take my hat off to, what's her name? The one that just did Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Oh my God. Tell me your name now.
I don't know.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
We'll just say Jane Doe, but if she's listening, we do apologize.
Oh, that is Viola Davis. There you go.
Oh yeah, Viola Davis. We got there eventually. Yes,
I did a film with her too. But let me let you ask the questions.
No, you're fine. You can carry on if you want. All right, then now I'll start with this one. You've had a very long, successful career, which has been 52 years, I believe, which started in, was it 1970?
Well, I actually got my SAG card in 68. I was doing extra work on a film in New York called Cotton Comes to Harlem, and they gave me a line. So that made me be able to get my SAG card. So it's been over 52 years, but you know, after a while, you just don't count anymore. You just keep going.
So, all right, then here's a question for you. What do you think is the secret to your success? Why are you still, I'll say, being as popular as you are now, as you have been in the past?
I think it's my work ethic and the respect that I have for the craft. I've never thought of myself as a big star, and I like you said, you know, you get nervous, and I get nervous before every audition, before every taping, before every run through. I try to respect everybody's job on a set and put my ego aside, which isn't very big, and just try to do what the director wants. So I think it's the work ethic. And I have never been a big star, but steady working, you know, that's what it's all about. And
consistent as well.
yes. Thank God
Now,
I haven't had to do anything else. I mean, I teach, you know, I told you about that. So
you
you
did,
can
yes, you did.
ask.
Now, a lot of people might be wondering who this lady is, but if I was to say Will Smith's mum in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I wonder if everyone's just literally stood up in the chairs and thought, "Oh my God, he's interviewing Will Smith's mum off the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air." So, first question should be, what was it like to be part of such an iconic show in the '90s? And what are some of your favorite moments from that show?
We had so much fun on that show. None of us knew what it was going to, you know, come out to be, and still is. We were just having fun, and Will was such a great guy and a hard worker. We fooled around a lot, especially when all the sisters got together. We had a ball, a lot of loud, a lot of noise, and Will used to have us go into his dressing room before the show and turn up some music, and we had to party, and we would have our makeup and our hair done and all that stuff, and then we would go in there and sweat. The people would get so upset, the makeup artists and stuff. And then he would go out and warm up the audience. And just to be able to, you know, to play his mom. And my son, I know when my son was coming up, you know, I would run into people, "Oh, that's Will's mom, that's Will's mom." My son would say, "That's my mommy. That's not Will's mom, that's my mommy." Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Pretty much, yeah. Well, there is one more on the subject of Mr. Will Smith. Do you still speak to him?
Yeah. I wasn't part of the reunion. I wasn't there for the as a regular cast member. I did do a video. Oh, and one of my favorite episodes was when I took him back to Philly. It was like a fantasy thing.
Yeah.
And we aged, you know, and I still had him under my control, and he was like 70 something years old, I guess. That was a lot of fun. Oh, and he took me to Philly one time. We did the episode where he went to Philly for a ball game or something. But anyway, I got to drive around Philly with him, and took me to the Philly cheesesteak place. I met his parents and everything. So that was a lot of fun too.
Now, to be honest with you, if we talked about your entire career, I mean, it's 6:15 now, my time. We'd be here till what, midnight nearly, because your career has been that vast and that big. So I will just give everyone probably about 10 examples of what you've done, even though I've got 20 here. I mean, for those who really remember the olden days, Fantasy Island, which was recently remade into a horror movie with Lucy Hale and Michael Pena. There's Hill Street Blues, LA Law, CSI. You were even in Batman the Animated Series, which I mentioned earlier. Animaniacs, which I did used to watch a lot of, and I love that show so much. Obviously, there was Sister, which I have to say that because if my fiance listening to this didn't hear me say that, I would literally get it in the neck from her. Yeah, there's X-Files, Two and a Half Men, Desperate Housewives. Literally every single major TV show that's gone on for a lot longer than most people would have liked, you have done.
Do you remember
So,
Welcome Back, Kotter?
yeah, indeed, yeah.
You,
In
you,
fact,
you weren't even around then, huh?
and you've been in Big Bang Theory, which is,
Yes.
I'll say mainly what I know you from, because you're the nurse who comes up with the best liners for Mr. and Mrs. Wallowitz.
Yes,
I
yes,
still laugh at one particular line, and I think you know which one it is.
yes. And that's all you needed, right? That's all you needed.
I was actually about where you pick the phone up and says, "I need a doctor." What is it? What is it? I need a doctor. I've got a patient out here with a robot holding his penis. That's the favorite one. It's like, how embarrassing is that?
Well, when he said, I said, did you build anything besides the arm? He's like, no. I said, because that's all you needed.
You want to know
And
what's
I'm
actually
doing another
funny?
Chuck Lorre show
I know.
now.
I
You
know,
know it?
what still amazes me to this day is, even though I've watched Big Bang Theory in that episode more times than I probably should, it's still funny. It's still
Yeah.
funny. It's still funny as when I first watched it. Kind of like when Leonard's girlfriend at the time, Priya, dissolves the roommate agreement. That's still funny as anything, even though that was the first episode I watched, and I have watched it
Yes,
more times than I should have.
yes, yes.
That's just something about Big
Those
Bang.
guys are just, they were
Yeah,
geniuses. They were
yeah,
just, Jimmy, and just so humble, They always, just ordinary folks,
yeah.
They just worked very hard. They didn't fool around because they had some pretty intricate dialogue, and if you're not a scientist or something, you have to really focus on what you're saying. So
Yeah. I always wondered how Jim Parsons managed to do all the really fast ones.
right. He worked hard.
He did, bless him.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
He
I
laughed
just
a little
mentioned.
bit stuff, but it was about the work.
Yeah, I was just about to mention. There is obviously more shows, but is all those shows in your career what you've wanted to do, or was it a case of you just went for it and saw what happened with it, basically?
Well, regardless of what people think, you still have to, no matter what kind of name I've gotten, I've still had to audition mostly for things. There have been things that I've turned down because I just wouldn't do, but I've been blessed to get some really good parts and with good producers and directors and writers. And that's the thing, if you don't have the material, there's not much you can do
Really.
with it. So, and even the crew, you work with people that are happy to be there. They don't mistreat you. I've had my days
Yeah.
of rough times, but basically, I've been blessed with some good material and good scripts and parts that have some meaning to them.
Now, obviously, a lot of people don't know this, and Star Trek fans might not know this, but in Fantasy Island in the 1970s, not the newest one, there Khan, who was played by Ricardo Montalban, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He was actually in Fantasy Island. He was one of the main stars, which you were in. So I've never had the chance to ask anybody this because he was always one of my favorite Star Trek villains. So, what was Ricardo Montalban like as a person?
Just such a gentleman. I mean, his presence was just so strong and powerful, but just the sweetest man. Back in those days, chivalry and just being kind and gracious and of course he always showed up in that white suit, boy, and his hair was done, and it's just he was pretty fascinating and a gentleman, total gentleman, and very gracious.
Would you like to know a little story about him playing Khan in Star Trek 2?
Sure.
It was
Yeah.
actually, I don't know, you might not know this, but Star Trek 2, Star Trek 4, and Star Trek 6 have certain, I'll say, passages from Shakespeare in them.
Mm.
And it was actually because of Ricardo that I actually started liking Shakespeare.
Wow.
He was just so good with delivering the lines.
Yes, yes,
It was
yes.
just like, wow, if this must be good if he's been asked to speak these lines. It's like it must
Yes.
be. So yeah, I must admit I haven't really kept up with Shakespeare as much as I used to, because I did used to
I'm
like
sure
watch.
he studied that in school too,
Yeah,
in his upbringing,
yeah. But it was
you
just
know.
like, wow, this is just so good. So yeah, I must admit I have actually done some lines. When he says them in there, I have actually tried to be like, right, can I do this? Can I do that line? And I'm just every time I
Let me
try,
hear it.
I've done it right. It's like,
Let me hear it.
no, I can't. He's just too good.
Come on, you got one of them. Come on, let me hear something.
Well, there's too many of them actually. Hold on, let me just try and think which one's best. Right, hold on a minute. Now I'm gonna have to pull out my best mean face here. I was gonna do that. No, I'm not gonna do that one because
You have
you
a
definitely
mean
need
face.
the Ricardo voice for it. Oh God, it's been that long since I've watched it. Oh yeah, I remember the line where he goes, "Not so wounded as we were led to believe. So much the better."
Ooh,
Still no
yeah.
Ricardo, but not bad. But
I
yeah,
felt
yeah,
that.
but yeah. I owe Ricardo. I know he's not here, bless him. But if there was a chance, I would just actually like to say thank you to him for
Mhm.
actually getting me into Shakespeare, because he was the main reason that I actually started liking it,
Mm,
and it is a bit
wow.
sad.
Yes, yes.
So thanks for letting me say that.
Thank you, Ricardo Montalban.
Mm.
Yes.
The best Khan, and still the best Khan, because Benedict Cumberbatch is good, but he is not him. I said that when it was announced that he was playing him. I'm like, it's no good. He's not. He's not Ricardo. He won't do a good job. He will do a good job. He just won't do a better job. Now, if I may move on from Ricardo, because we could talk about it all day. I think one day we are going to have to just do a podcast where we talk about nothing but Ricardo. So now you actually have starred in Batman the Animated Series and Batman movie Return of the Joker. So you have starred with a certain Kevin Conroy. So have you ever
Yeah, but
met
we
him?
don't see them, because it's animated.
Yeah.
Everybody does their lines at different times.
I mean, that's a bit gutting, isn't it?
Yeah, except I did a. Do you remember who Mel Blanc is?
Yeah. Oh, darling. He was key in my. I've been such a big Looney Tunes fan ever since I was a kid. I know that
Right.
guy.
Well, I actually worked with him in the studio.
Oh, did you?
And yes, on Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels. I was one of the Teen Angels.
Wow.
And we would be filming our show, but then he'd had to do some pickups for some other Looney Tunes stuff. And they would give him the script. I mean, he might have 7 characters on that page. And he'd go from line to line with 7 different voices, not even stopping. He was unbelievable.
Who,
Unbelievable.
who did
Little
he
guy.
voice in Looney Tunes? Who did he voice in Looney Tunes? Was it Bugs Bunny?
Yep.
Who else was it?
All of them.
All of them? Oh my God.
Yeah, it's just Scooby Doo. Was he do Scooby Doo? I don't know. It was on the Tweety Bird, all those people. He was something else.
Looney Tunes literally made up about 95% of my child. Well, actually, Looney Tunes and Batman animated series made up about 95% of my childhood. So yeah.
Yep,
So
yep.
yeah. Wow, Mel Blanc. That's a name I've not heard in a while, to be honest.
I know. Yeah, yeah. I the guy who was the head of Warner Brothers, he just retired about a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Peter Roth. That was the first job that I had ever gotten for him, was Captain Caveman and the
Yeah.
Teen Angels. Yes, yes. I'm on a new show now, right?
Yeah. We're gonna go into that
We're
in a
gonna
minute.
go into that later.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep going.
Now, obviously, as I've already mentioned, you've been in the Big Bang Theory a few times, mainly sorting Howard Wolowitz out, as we know, for different occasions. Actually, sorted Bernadette out once when she was pregnant with Hallie, I think it was.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously, you've enjoyed your time in Big Bang Theory, but what was, I know we said what my favourite line was, but what was your favourite line?
I told you.
Oh, yeah, I remember, because that's all you needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
So that's all you needed, huh? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I had a good time on that show. Those guys. And actually Wallowitz was a childhood friend of my best friend's son. And
Oh,
they went to
really?
karate class together.
Simon
Yep.
Heiberg took karate lessons.
Yep.
Wow.
He was a black belt.
He was a black belt, and literally he could not do that with Howard. Wow. They should have put that in just for the hell of it. They really should have.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Big Bang Theory is still one of my favorites. I really wish it would have carried on maybe a little bit more, but if I can't remember the reasons for it ending, I think it was Jim wanted to move on, which obviously I respect his decision, but I still felt that
13
maybe
years.
I think
13 years.
I still think there was a bit more life in it, but then again, if somebody has desires to do other stuff, there's not really much you can do, is there?
No, no.
I still miss it.
Yeah.
I really do. So, last question before we get on to what you've got coming out. You have played a nurse in quite a few shows, not just Big Bang Theory, but I believe you've done it in 2.5 Men as well. So, what is it that makes you want to play a
West
nurse again
Wing.
and again?
I played a nurse on West Wing, and I am the last one that can do anything as far as nursing or being in the hospital. I don't like to go to the hospital. My sister's a nurse. My other sister's a doctor. My brother's an X-ray technician, but I'm not the one. And I get these parts as nurses, and I always have to call my sister up. When I did this nurse on West Wing, they wanted me to carry these twins. And I said, I don't think, and they were live, and I was like,
They
I don't
weren't
think.
fake. They weren't fake ones. They weren't
No,
dolls.
they were not fake babies. And I'm supposed to I said, I don't think this is right. So I called my sister, and she said, oh, no, you would never do that. They'd be in the incubator thing or whatever that thing. Yeah. So I asked them for advice and everything, but somehow I always get these nurses parts. And I actually have a uniform in my closet for that audition process.
Oh, bless you. Right, so you do actually have a documentary coming out, which is called You Look Familiar, with Vernee Watson, which you also have executive produced as well. So I guess the inevitable question is, what is the documentary about?
All my life, I mean, since I've been, my grandson says that, I've been doing this my whole life, all my life. I said, you're only 5 years old. What are you talking about?
Little kids always have a big opinion, don't they?
Well, I mean, just the fact that I've been actually working, for over 50 years in this industry. I was not the one who said, oh, do a documentary on me. It was, Junie Smith and Glenn Turman that wanted to do it. So I was like, I don't get it. But, they just convinced me that I've been around long enough to be considered a legend, and my sustainability in the business is of interest to people. And they were just going to call it Vernee Watson, The Life and Times or something, whatever. And I said, you know what line I hear all the time? You look familiar.
Yeah.
Do I know you? You look all the time. And going back to Fresh Prince, no matter what country I'm in, because my son lives in Europe, and I've been over to Europe watching him perform over the past 10 years. And No matter what language they're speaking, I understand Will's mom. Everybody recognizes me as Will's mom, you know, and people feel like they know me because I've been around so long, and I have been on their televisions, in their bedrooms and their living rooms and stuff, you know, not actually, but on the TV. So they kind of, they feel like they know me. So
Yeah. It's actually funny you say that, because when we've been watching Big Bang Theory, we've seen you come up in like one or two episodes, and we're like, sure, we've seen her before somewhere. Where have we seen her from? We're literally going back through the episodes. Next time we're like, hold on a minute, wasn't she Bernadette's nurse when she had Ali? And I went, yes, she was. So yeah, I do see where that's come from, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
You look familiar. Mm-hmm.
So the next question, obviously for a lot of people, and myself included, is when is it going to be released, and when or what will it be released on?
It's supposed to go into the theaters in October.
Ooh.
This coming October. Yeah.
Is there any plans to do a HBO Max and release it in theaters and streaming services as well? Or aren't you too sure about that?
I mean, it's a documentary, so I don't know. I mean, it's not like an action movie or anything. I mean, it's interesting. It's, you know, it's about my life, and
Yeah.
I got a lot of my family and stuff in there, but we'll see what happens. I just feel like God is in charge of my life, and whatever's supposed to happen will. I don't try to project anything so much. I just do the work and just see where it takes me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I can guarantee, I don't guarantee much nowadays, but I can guarantee you the minute I see it on Amazon, Netflix, or Sky over here, I will be watching it. That I will promise you right now.
Okay.
Speaking of stuff that's released, you've also been in General Hospital, which is the third longest reigning TV program that there is.
Mm-hmm.
So what was it that made you want to be in that show?
Well, at the time I wasn't working much, and I needed a job. And I got the script, and it was so well written. I was like, ooh, I can get into this. And the writing, I mean, it's like, to me, when you have a good script, it's like a symphony. You know, you got the highs and the lows and the crescendos, and then the, you know, the undercurrent. And I just worked that. And you know, when you go on an audition with your peers, a lot of the time you just spend, hey girl, how you doing? What you been up to? Blah, 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 you know, all this talky stuff. I didn't do that on this audition. I was focused. I said, I'm gonna go in there and get this job. And soap operas, you know, you see me on Big Bang, I have maybe 5-6 lines. Soap operas, you have pages and pages and pages of dialogue. So I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. And when I realized how much work it was, I called it acting aerobics, because you don't have much time to rehearse.
Yeah.
You got to know those lines. All those days of prompters and cue cards, no more.
No more.
No, you get out, you get on that set, you block, you go to makeup, you block one time, the director tells you where to move while you're saying this line or that line. Not so much direction in the acting part, but the movement. And what the cameras are doing, the cameras are moving more than you are. You know, and my grandson, you know, when I get my scripts, my grandson would take them out of the machine, the copier, and hand it to me. You know, I get some sides for a show or something, he hands me. But when the stuff came for General Hospital, he's like, whoa, it's just flying, papers everywhere, you know. But I had to hire somebody to help me with that dialogue, so that I would know what I was doing when I got on set. And it paid off, because, you know, I got an Emmy the first year and the second year.
And that was going to be the next question. Congratulations, you are a double Emmy winner. Actually, you are my first Emmy Award-winning actress I've actually had on here.
Woo.
So you are in a very exclusive club at this point in time. So how does it feel to be an Emmy Award winner?
It feels good. I mean, it just means that um, that my work was recognized, and I tell you, I teach kids.
You do, yeah.
So I didn't get it because I'm not on social media, and I didn't get it by having so many followers or likes or whatever. I got it by doing the work. And I tell my children, my students, you got to do the work. I give you a scene to do, and you come back next week and you're right where you were last week. You need to do that work if you want to progress.
Yeah.
And it was an example for them to show them that this is what you get when you do the work.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people might know this. I know my fiance knows this, but you were in Sister Sister in the 1990s. And
Sister. Yes.
There was talk about a revival. So if it was to happen, would you want to be a part of it?
Oh, yeah. They got kids of their own now.
Mm.
Yep.
We'll have to call it Sister Sister Sister.
Sisters. Yeah, absolutely. You mean they're gonna do another show of it?
I think so.
Or just like a revival, really?
Yeah, that's what my fiance has been demanding I put into these questions. She's like, I don't mind what you put in, as long as you put a question about Sister Sister, because she is a big fan of it.
Yeah, they have that on Netflix now. So I've been watching it. Yep. Yeah. I had a good time doing that show too. Those girls, and I remember the first time they got their hair straightened, because they had that curly hair.
Yeah.
And they got the first time that they pressed it and wore it straight. We were in the makeup room, and I was washing my makeup off or something, but I was using that hose thing.
Yeah.
And the water started going all over the place. And they're like, my hair. Because you can't get that hair wet because it'll frizz back up again. That was hilarious.
You look like you've been electrically shocked.
Yep. Now, you still haven't asked me about the new show that I'm on. Or you waiting?
Now, what new show are you on?
I'm on a Chuck Lorre show
called
Bob Hart's Abishola. Ooh. And we are actually on the Big Bang stage.
Oh, nice to see the stage is being used still. It just feels like being another home, really.
Well, I used to walk on that set. Say, wow, it sure would be nice to have a regular job on, like these guys, and work every day because they had the best. You know what craft services is?
Remind me.
The food that they put out during the day.
Oh yeah. All right, it's been a long day.
Well, they had the best craft services of anybody on the lot, and it was just really cool. And now we are in those dressing rooms, and it is so wonderful. The show is great. Chuck Lorre is an amazing, and his amazing creative man, and his daughter works on the show. She was a PA on Big Bang when I did it. Huh?
Oh yeah, she was a PA, wasn't she? Who's
yeah.
PA was she?
A production assistant for the whole
production assistant. Yeah. Sorry, I do apologize.
So like a runner, you know what I'm saying? But now she's directing some shows. She's the first AD on Bob Hart's Abishola.
Yeah.
And she's also directed a few episodes. Yep.
How much do you think she's learned from her dad?
Oh, she's incredible. She's and just just so unassuming, and she doesn't walk around and say, "I'm Chuck Lorre." You wouldn't even know that she was his daughter.
Yeah.
Unless you
Someone
knew
asked
her.
her.
Yeah. Because it's not about that. And Chuck Lorre himself, I mean, he he has like 4 or 5 shows going. He's at all the table reads. He's writing for all the shows. That's a lot of work. He's a hardworking man.
It somehow makes it work, though.
Yes, he does. He does. And it's just amazing. I'm so very blessed to be in his circle. And
maybe you and him should do a joint documentary, like this is how we make our careers work. Future advice for any future actors or sitcom creators, to be honest.
Right.
It's still one idea. It's still an idea, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, just briefly, a lot of people might not know this, but you have actually done a bit of video gaming, voices-wise. You've done True Crime Streets of Bel-Air, GTA San Andreas, and recently, as in September last year, Mafia Definitive Edition. So would you like to do any more video game work if it came your way?
Can I be honest with you?
Be very as honest as you want to be.
That's some hard work. You are talking consistently for about 4 hours straight.
God.
It ain't no joke. I don't mind doing it. I have to watch my language and stuff. I don't like to do the ones where there's a lot of cursing and all. I don't.
Very Leonard Nimoy of you.
Hmm?
Leonard Nimoy never used to swear either. Not that much anyway.
Well, I mean, kids know my voice, and my niece called me, "Oh, Grandma, I heard you on so-and-so. You was I can't do that. I can't. I have to watch myself with that.
Oh, bless you.
And I don't think it's necessary.
You have to, because you're an inspiration to millions, if not billions.
Yes. And it's just become so commonplace that I think it's for lack of being able to use other vocabulary that people curse so much. It's just, anyway.
All right, then. I think you're the wisest person that I've had on these interviews and podcasts. So what advice would you give someone, whether they're starting out in the business or they're a veteran in the business?
First of all, be patient, stay humble. Never think that you're more than or better than anyone else or the work itself. Appreciate the work. You always have to have gratitude and do the work. People, I have watched so many times in this business where people say, I need a job, child. I haven't been working, and then they get a job and they start complaining about it. Oh God, I was there all day long and we went take after take. And then the director wanted me to change the lineup. That's what you're there for. That's why they hire you. Just do the work. Or you get a job and you forget about, you say, well, I got the job now, so I don't even really have to. I've been on the set so many times where actors and actresses just don't know their lines. And they're on their phone. They're doing this. Oh, are you ready? Oh, okay. Where are we? Can you give me the line, please? It's about the work, y'all. And get some training. Get some training. Don't be afraid of doing theater. That's where you get that live in your gut training, because you're out there you're out there in front of the audience. You're not naked as far as, physically, but your emotions and everything. So you got to come up with it. Yeah. So don't be afraid of getting the training and asking questions. If you don't know what you're doing, ask. Yep. And be respectful of everybody, the prop person, the one that's cleaning, the one that's catering, the guy that's hanging the lights. All these people are important. You don't have to get into their live history, but hey, thank you, all that. Yeah.
By the way, ladies and gents, she's had to put up with Howard Wolowitz for God knows how many episodes. You take her advice on board, and I mean that.
He's a sweet guy too. I mean, just those. I don't know if you've ever met any of them, but
I haven't, not yet, but they are hopefully on the cards.
Oh, good.
I hope. Fingers crossed. And
yes.
Hold on. I've got a bit of wood here. Touch wood. But there has been a bit of an ambition to me, if not, meet everyone or as many as I can. So
Mm-hmm.
I do hope that happens at one point. I
Yes.
really hope it does.
Have you watched my new show?
If it comes over into England, I will watch it.
Oh,
It probably will because every other Chuck Lorre show has all.
because Shola Aduisi, one of the lady that plays the aunt, is from England.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You know her name? Of course, you know her name.
Shola Aduisi.
Not familiar with that name, but
She's
let me go.
Nigerian, but she lives in London.
What is
She's
she?
yeah,
I'll look her up after. I'll look her up
absolutely.
after the interview's done.
Yes, yes.
Now, you don't have any social media. Yes, people, it does happen. To be fair, that's not a bad thing. But you would like to promote something instead of telling people how to find you on social media. So the floor is yours.
Well, like I said, I have also not just been an actress, but I've been teaching acting to young people for over 30, 40 years. And right now I'm with an organization, a nonprofit performing arts company called The Heart, which is heartfelt education in the arts. And if you go online to theheartarts.org, theheartarts.org tells you about our organization. We did a great Black History Month show right before COVID hit on February 29th, leap year day. I'm at the studio now where we filmed it. And we have posts going on. We're on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. I don't even know how to get on there, but you can see us on there. We filmed some promos for Black History Month that are in regards to that. And you can see us on Instagram and Facebook and follow us there. You can get in touch with me that way. And also the email addresses on the website and information about my classes. I'm doing adult classes now on Zoom. Whew, that's some hard work.
It is.
Yeah.
Right. So, are you up for a little quiz?
I don't do too well at these.
That'd be all right. It's actually quite easy.
When you start asking me people's names, though,
No, not yet. But we'll see how we get to that. It's actually quite easy. Just going to give you a number of genres. You probably have done them all, but I will ask them anyway. All you have to do is just say yes or no as to whether you'd accept an offer to appear in them or appear in them again. It's entirely if it's already happened. So I'll start with science fiction. So would you do science fiction?
If I didn't have to wear a lot of makeup, sit in the makeup chair for 5 hours with things all over my face.
Just as you are. That's fair enough. I'm like that as well. I would not like to sit in the makeup chair 5 hours. I can't sit
right.
long enough to do
right.
What about drama?
Oh, yeah, drama. I've done drama, would do drama.
Yep.
I'm very dramatic. My daughter says I'm very dramatic anyway, so.
Oh. Animation or maybe even Japanese anime, which is just basically the same thing, but a bit more. If that makes any sense.
You mean the voice for it?
Yep.
I don't speak Japanese.
Oh, no, they dub it, or you basically dub it over. Because they do
that
with all Japanese anime.
Sure. That's some fun work because you don't have to get made up. You don't have to dress up, costume, or nothing. You just show up in the studio and have some fun. Yes.
All right. One of my favorite genres, and I'm not sure if it is yours or not, but I'll ask it anyway. Horror.
Horror?
Yep. Would you do one?
No, I'm scared anyway. I'm too scared. I don't like. I just.
Fair enough then. What about an action movie?
I've hurt myself on the set. I have tried to do my own stunts. And I know if I did an action movie, I'd probably kill myself trying to do my own stuff.
I probably would as well. So, what about a rom-com?
What?
Romance and comedy rom-com.
Oh, romance. That sounds nice. I'm a little old for that, but
never too old.
No, that's right. Thank you. Thank you. There's still hope. And what's the other thing you said? Romance and what?
Yeah, basically rom-com, or they can be separate. It depends on how you want to do it.
One? I don't understand. I'm sorry.
Well, there's like rom-coms, so it's basically like comedy that have romance in them, or there's
Oh,
kind of
rom-com.
or like a Ben
Oh,
Stiller comedy.
rom-com. Oh, those are cute.
Yeah,
I've done a lot of Hallmark, not a lot, but those
you've done
Hallmark
yeah,
movies, those sweet, very sweet, uh, romantic little movie. Yeah,
yeah.
that's fun.
Here's one for you. It's not. We don't really see any of these made anymore. But what about a western?
As long as I don't have to get on that horse.
Would Clint Eastwood have to be in it as well?
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
like Glenn Turman, all these guys, Glenn Turman, they had the Black Rodeo here in Burbank. And those guys used to ride those horses. I don't do well on a horse.
I probably wouldn't want
You
to.
either?
No.
I can't get that can't. I can get off, my butt is so sore for days.
Mm.
I don't understand it. And it's very high up. Have you been on a horse?
No, nor do I wish to.
You have never been on a horse?
I've been on a donkey when I was younger.
Yeah, but did he throw you off?
No, don't think he
No,
did.
he was docile.
Probably.
Yeah. A horse is a different thing. No on the Western. There's too many clothes and it's usually hot and dusty.
I'm full of old guns. I probably misfire, to be honest. All right then. Right, here's the last one. You have
Okay.
actually done some video game work before, so it would be, say, a video game that's been turned into a movie. Obviously, depending on what it is, because there is a lot that I wouldn't mind having a part in, but there is obviously a lot that I wouldn't have.
Right. And then they put those wires and things on you for the.
Oh no, this would be like say Resident Evil, because there is actually a remake of that coming out with Robbie and Mel, and I think I'm pronouncing her name right, Kaya Scudero. Basically, it would be a computer game that's already been released, and it would be turned into a movie. Starring live action, obviously, it'd be live action.
I have to be honest with you on this video game stuff. I'm
Carry on.
trying to get my grandkids off these things
Yeah,
and into a book. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a big fan of video games. I'm sorry.
fair
I
enough.
think they're so violent and kids lose sight of reality, and they just think that it's okay to shoot up a whole bunch of people. I think that they're not good for our children. So there you go.
A lot of kids are a bit, I'll say, technology dependent. Whereas
Yeah.
not so much Wii timers, because obviously I'm only 37, so I'm not as old, but I do see how technologies can be a problem. I mean, there's going to be a time when we can't be as dependent on technology as we are now, and it's always going to be the ones who aren't that technology dependent that will fare best. You can even make that into a movie if you wanted.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I mean, I can't even imagine if all our computers went down. I mean, what would happen to our economies, our
Yeah.
communicate, everything,
Everything,
I remember, you remember
everything.
well, you weren't even around on the days where you had to go find a phone.
I
You
was
had to,
actually.
huh?
I was actually around.
You said you were 37.
I'm 37 now, yeah. So I was born in 1983.
They had payphones in 1983, I guess so.
We had payphones when I was growing up. So yeah, I think the last one in England sort of went like in the 2000s. And I have actually used a payphone. So yeah, I have actually been there and done that. Right.
Oh, goodness.
Just to finish
Okay.
off, just to finish off, last question. Obviously, you starred with a lot of famous people in your time. Obviously, Ricardo Montalban, or everyone in The Big Bang Theory.
You go back to Ricardo Montalban. That's your boy.
He's just so iconic. It's hard not to. And besides, everyone needs to know who he was.
Yes.
So, with that being said, name me 10 actors or actresses that
Oh, see, here you go.
I'll tell you what, let me start you off. Would you start with Meryl Streep in something?
Oh, yeah.
Now, you see, everyone else picks Meryl Streep.
I mean, she's such a good character. I mean, sometimes you don't even recognize her in the part. You know what I'm saying? Except for her name. So she doesn't play everything the same.
No, well, my lady is a huge fan of Mamma Mia, and I have no choice but to watch it. So I do actually have a really deep respect for Meryl Streep.
I have a deep respect for Viola Davis and Chad Boswick. Oh my God!
Oh, I miss him
You have
so
not
much.
seen Ma Rainey's Black Bottom?
Nope.
You got to see that. It's on Netflix. Can you all get Netflix out there?
Yep. I have literally every single sort of streaming service that there actually is in England, apart from HBO Max, which will probably take a bit longer because the situation over here is a bit complicated.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just that HBO Max has a deal with Sky, who is basically a satellite provider, and Game of Thrones actually went through Sky. Watchmen, that HBO makes, went through Sky. So everything's got to go through Sky before we can get HBO Max. So then they can do it. It's like what we didn't get Disney Plus straight away because over here, Marvel had a contract with Netflix where they paid them however many hundreds of millions it was, and Netflix got to show over Disney movies. But once that contract finished, we could get Disney Plus because it was all the movies back.
So did you see Hamilton?
Not yet, no. That is on my list. Unfortunately, with streaming services, there's just too much to watch. There really is. I haven't even got around to watching season 3 of American Gods yet.
Oh.
And I haven't even watched, I can't even watch series 8 of The Blacklist because I love James Spader.
I'm one of those people that watches reruns of Andy Griffin and Everybody Loves Raymond, all those kind of things. I'm
not going to say anything. We watch Big Bang Theory and Friends. So I can't say anything on that.
Yes. I know I didn't give you 10 names, but you're asking me to dig into the brain that doesn't work very well. I know the faces, but I can't. I just
you've named 4. That's enough. Just one last question. I know it's not on the questions we asked, but there is one question I would like to ask. Obviously, you've worked with all the main stars on The Big Bang Theory. Are they as nice and lovely as everyone imagines them to be?
Oh yeah. Yes. They're just regular people. I mean, you wouldn't know that they made so much money, you know. And they joke, you know, they have regular conversation, they have aches and pains just like everybody else, and they just cool people. I mean, when I met Jimmy Parsons, I did the pilot like 3 times.
Blimey.
We did a pilot, and then they got a new girlfriend or something. They changed the characters.
They changed Penny.
Huh? What?
I think they had someone else for Penny in mind, but then they changed it to Kaylee.
Right. That wasn't until the 3rd time. There were 2 more setups for a pilot, and I was just a guest, and I did all 3 of those things. So they came to Penny at the last, and then the 2 guys, you know, the friends.
Yeah.
Horowitz and what's his name? The other one, the Indian guy. So So when I met them, you know, we just talked about normal stuff, and we still talk about normal stuff. I just saw Johnny on the lot. He was doing Roseanne. What is that called now?
Oh yeah, I heard that was coming back.
Yeah, he was across the way doing that, and he told me he had bought a lake But at the time, I said, well, how's your lake going? He says, well, it's kind of dried up now because it was a drought.
God bless him.
And he took me for a ride in a Tesla. The first time I ever heard about a Tesla.
Yeah.
He had gotten a Tesla. Yeah. Yeah.
They're so common, it's unbelievable. But they're so good to, the interior is so lovely to look at. You have a dash, basically you have an iPad in the middle of a console.
That's it. And the front of the car is a trunk.
Mm.
You know, there's no engine. So you have two trunks. You have one in the front and one in the back. Yeah. And the girl that, one of the executive producers of our show, Bob Hart's Abishola, Gina Yashir, she has one. And she says that there's videos of people on the freeway sound asleep. The Tesla just takes them home. Mm. You can program it.
That would be nice. I'm not a big fan of self-driving cars.
Me either.
I'll tell you why, because I don't know if you watched Grand Tour or not, but there was one episode where we were talking about self-driving cars. There is a road in Bolivia called Death Road. It is absolutely the worst and tightest road I've ever seen in my life. Put it this way, Jeremy said once about self-driving cars, if the guy who basically is so confident with it, if he gets to the top of Death Road and has not soiled himself, then he'll think about a self-driving car, but I would not. But honestly, Death Road is not the best. It's one of the worst roads ever.
Wow.
It makes driving on an LA highway seem like bliss.
Have you been on there?
No, but put it this way, we have the M25 in England. I've been on it, and it is the most depressing thing I've ever done in my life. It really is.
My friend here is from England. He's British.
What's up, gorgeous? I'll tell you what, the N25 made me fucking move to LA because I was looking for better traffic.
Oh, bless you. Well, you're not missing much since you've moved, believe me.
Where are you from?
Nottingham.
Oh, okay. I'm from Stoke-on-Trent, so just
down the street. Not far away then.
No, not at all. Yeah, we suffer the slings and arrows of Robin Hood all the time.
Oh,
the other reason I moved.
Oh gosh, that's Martin. We are managing the studio here in North Hollywood.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it's a nice place.
It looks it.
All right, sir.
Right then, shall we end it there then, darling?
Yes, it's been lovely.
Yep, and on that, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Emmy Award winner, Vernee Watson.
Yay! Thank you, Dean.
Thank you very much.